All right, guys, starting to drizzle a little bit. We've got our handheld spreader that we got from the thrift store for, it says $5, but I'm pretty certain it was at least half off. That worked absolutely excellent on the Daikon radish that we put in our sweet potato plot. This time we've got beets, Daikon radish, kale, and Dean Family Acres. All right, guys, now that we got the area cleared out and tilled up, then we are going to plant these Daikon radishes to help amend our soil. I've been reading up on these a little bit. Apparently they can grow up to a foot long. It's pretty crazy. But we're going to amend this soil with these as a fall cover crop. And we'll kind of keep you posted as to how it's going. This is in the bed or the area where we planted our sweet potatoes. So hopefully this will soften up the soil. Part of our soil is pretty decent back here, but part of it's just hard as rocks. So supposedly these are gonna work. Let's see. All right, guys, so we've got our handheld spreader. We spent $5 on this max. I honestly am pretty certain we got it 25% off. So no big deal. And then we got a little over 2 pounds of Daikon radishes for about $4. So we're gonna put them into the spreader. I'll walk back and forth, spread this out, and hopefully we'll have some radishes planting pretty soon. It's supposed to rain this actually tonight and tomorrow and a little bit this weekend. We'll see if that actually works out because we haven't really been having that here lately. So let's see if we can get these in. Find it? All right, guys, so we got those Daikon radish planted, and we'll kind of proceed with seeing how these take off during the fall. If it doesn't rain tonight, I'll come out and put sprinklers on this so that everything can get wet, because you definitely want to get everything established with some water. All right, guys, we're gonna try and get our cover crop in the garden before it rains, approximately an hour. We will see if this works. All right, guys, so you can see we got that pulled up and we're moving a few plants that we still had in this row over one. Ultimately, it would be best to work on this side too, just because we do have a row of broccoli, cabbage, and other items that grow in the fall / winter. So we're working on getting those up. Last year we were able to actually overwinter some in the raised bed. So beans here, almost ready within a week. So we've been able to cover those a couple times. Should be perfect. And then peas right there. So continue to work on all that stuff and things are going pretty well. Y'all follow along as we get this tilled up and get a cover crop in. All right, guys, so why are we overseeding and putting cover crop on our garden? Well, number one, it is to increase our soil fertility. We want to continually put more organic matter back into the soil. And I think you can even see in this video exactly the color differences, and not that color means that a soil is healthier than another, but you can definitely see the organic matter in this lower end versus the upper end. And it's kind of weird that our property is like this, in that the lower end of our property, all the way up until about the garden, honestly, is pretty fertile soil. Up on the upper end where we have the newer muscadines, where we put the Ruby Crisp, etc. Check out that video right here. Where we put those, there's hardly any topsoil. I mean, it's just hardly anything. I don't know. I know that there was a road that came through here, so I'm wondering if possibly that road came right through there and they just scraped off the topsoil. There's nothing there. Although the elevation, you know, you can't tell that there was a road. Also, back to this side over here, just past our garden, is a lot of very silty, kind of loam type soil where our pine trees are. You can definitely see that in this upper end. This is the type of soil that we have. So it's almost like it kind of comes up right on this top corner. Honestly, also the way that our garden is sloped, it does slope back down towards where you are with the camera right now. So that water doesn't necessarily get, irrigation wise, it doesn't stay as damp up here on the upper end. The lower end always handles water well and holds water, but not to a detriment. I know that we actually, Will over at Dixie Meadows Farm, he's just on Facebook, but the guy is an absolute genius for growing stuff. I would encourage you to go check him out. Link down below in the video description. He does a lot with Hoss tools as well, but he is a master at that and making sure things work. So definitely check him out. All right, guys, starting to drizzle a little bit. We've got our handheld spreader that we got from the thrift store for, it says $5, but I'm pretty certain it was at least half off. That worked absolutely excellent on the Daikon radish that we put in our sweet potato plot. This time we've got beets, Daikon radish, kale, and I feel like that's all we ended up doing. So we got a little bit of a combination, and we're gonna just see how it'll do. Daikon radish is a large majority of this, but they kind of threw in a few other things just so we would have a mixture. Oh, curly mustard as well. So I think that will do really, really well to put some cover crop in this area. We'll see how this side does this year, and I think we're gonna try and incorporate doing this more often. I think this is really the way to go. Hopefully you have enjoyed the conversation thus far in regards to why we're doing this. So y'all follow along as we get this spread out. All right, guys, so as we enjoy the last little bit of eggplants, marigolds, a few tomatoes, we covered this raised bed when that frost came through here the other week. Hopefully this cover crop situation in regards to part 2, in regards to why, it keeps your soil being productive. So you're not losing out on productivity. So that's definitely important. And when it lays fallow with nothing on it, then weeds continually grow. Y'all might have seen that at the beginning of this in regards to how there's just so much grass on this side where I'm at now. And honestly, that's because we didn't cover it. We tilled everything up, had plans to put beans down this side at one point this year, and just never actually got it done. All right, guys, hopefully you can see that pass. I think I'm gonna make at least 2 passes on this. We got a lot of different size seeds here. So these beets are drastically different than kale, and then radish. So, and then there's also some mustard in here as well. Beets are absolutely massive. So, you know, that's kind of impacting how the spread is on this. And I don't have a very large area, but I just want to make sure and get it covered really, really well. Let's go for another round. My wife actually ended up covering it with the landscape fabric, which definitely toned down the grass, but it had already grown a foot or 2 high. This is the key in regards to why we use landscape fabric. If we didn't, we would have a very, very hard time keeping the weed pressure down. And there's lots of different situations and opportunities in regards to keeping that down. But for us, in regards to the number of hours of input, landscape fabric is the key. And we're trying our best to learn about doing this cover crop so that we can pull that off, let the ground not be covered by the landscape fabric, you know, for 11 months out of the year. More like, let's let it be covered for 8 or 9 months out of the year. And then during the winter, we'll let the cover crops grow in that soil. And then we can come back and chop it and then put the landscape fabric back down when we do plant our garden. Love to hear you guys' comments down below in regards to what you do to keep back your weed pressure. I know that there's a lot of different options and ideas. The key for us, again, is just number of hours, amount of time that you have to put into that process. We're interested in minimal to none. So hopefully each and every one of y'all have learned something throughout this video as we learned about doing a cover crop and why it's important. We are trying to learn a little bit more ourselves, as I mentioned earlier, and just trying to make sure that we are using the area that we have available and how we can manage that area with as minimal inputs as possible, at least on a day-to-day basis. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully each and every one of y'all are having a wonderful and blessed day. Hope that you have a great week this week. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, you need to ring that bell like, that's right, Mike Tyson did it in the 1980s. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, y'all have a wonderful, blessed one. Appreciate everything you guys do to support us.